Hi everyone, it's Jen here from Tarot Spirit, here for your weekly reading beginning the week of October 25th. Happy Halloween um, next weekend. Yeah, so let's get into it. I've actually already taped this video and I had a bunch of interruptions, so I'm just going to start over. Um, so for this week at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. Now, this is sort of an underlying influence or energy or subconscious or sort of overall theme for the week. And the energy he brings is one of slow and steady wins the race. This king is very methodical and he's the opposite of instant gratification. Like, he plans things and works on them for years, if not decades. Like, he will start saving for retirement when he's, a young adult, and just, even if it's $10 a month, he'll just keep putting money away because he knows it will pay off. So he does that with everything. So like if this king was in a relationship, he may not be the type of king to um, be incredibly spontaneous, but he's going to, if you're a woman, this may sound sexist, but it's the only example I can think of at the moment. Like, he may always make sure you have your car's oil changed or maintenance type things. Like, that would be his way of showing he cares. Um, and if that's not your thing, it might not be your thing. So make sure you appreciate this king's influence, because it's not dazzling and flashy, but it's very solid and unwavering. So I'm going to do categories. I have work, relationships, home, and a spiritual card. So in the work relationships, in the work category, we have the Eight of Swords. So what this is telling me, I really feel that a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. And I'll give you an example from what's going on with my work. My work's very, very stressful. We're going through a transition, and we're being given a lot of extra work um, that I'm like, I literally can't do this. Like, I don't have time. But instead of sitting there getting stressed out, I've just decided to just let the stress go. I mean, every once in a while it gets me, and just do the best I can. And really, the King of Pentacles energy, just methodically, just accomplish one task at a time and focus on that, be very present on that, then move on to the next one. And I've actually been getting a lot more accomplished than sitting there going, I can't do this, I can't do this, and freaking out and worrying and feeling just like trying to use stress to like protect myself. Like, why do we have stress? I always wonder about that. Like, it doesn't, sitting there all stressed out doesn't make my work easier to do. It makes it harder to do. The other side of, so that's more of an intuitive feel I was getting from this card. Traditionally, this card talks about us, being trapped in our own mental negative thinking, trapping us where we are. So maybe you don't like your job and you want a new job, but you've talked yourself into thinking that you have to stay with this job because of the benefits, or you've been there for so long, or you're too old to change careers, or this or whatever um, you're telling yourself. But so this card would tell you to think about that is that really true, or is that just you giving up before you even try, or making, keeping yourself in um, a box, or trapped in a place that you really are not trapped in. So try to look at your situation from a much broader perspective and see if maybe you aren't in denial or keeping yourself, quote unquote, trapped in some way. The next category is relationships. And we have the Three of Cups. Nice. So I think this week it's going to be more focused on friendships. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you, I know it's Halloween, so that's it's not a stretch, but might be getting together with friends and celebrating. Doesn't mean your romantic partner couldn't be there, but it's more groups of people instead of just a couple. And feeling, mutually supportive, going out and having a few drinks or just, celebrating in some way with a group of emotionally supportive people. So I don't really feel like I have to elaborate on that card. It's just a very nice, warm, friendly, emotionally fulfilling atmosphere in your relationships this week. Nice. The next is home. Okay, so we have the Eight of Cups here. So I always think of the Eight of Cups, there are many stages to the Eight of Cups. This is a very complex and important card, I think. So it talks about times in our lives when we realize we need to walk away from something. And it's usually something we're emotionally tied to on some level, or were emotionally tied to at one point, and we're realizing that it's not good for us anymore. It's not fulfilling us anymore, and we need to walk away. So it can be very difficult. And what I like to remind people is just because you need to walk away from something doesn't mean like you're going to be happy about it or it's going to feel good. But you know that it's not working. So this is often a relationship, but this can be applied to anything. So something in your home, you may quite literally need to move. You may have a relationship that's breaking up, so you're leaving the home. It could even be like a child moving out. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a negative thing. But there's sort of the different stages I was talking about. There's sort of the realization that this isn't working anymore. That's sort of one step in this letting go process and walking away process of the Eight of Cups. So acknowledging that this isn't working anymore, something isn't working anymore. And then it's making the decision to actually like verbalize it and do something about it. And then there's also the stage where you've sort of closed the door on that part of your life, and then you start to get excited about what you're going to bring into your life now that that chapter is closed. So there can be a very exciting part if you allow yourself. So you can kind of get stuck in a lot of different parts of this card, depending on how hard it is for you to let go and just let things be, and it served a purpose and walk away. So this is one of the more complex, difficult cards in the deck, I think, to deal with. I think it's a very healthy card and a very positive card, quite frankly, because when you know you need to walk away from something that isn't fulfilling you anymore or isn't a positive emotional experience for you anymore, it's extremely important. And learning to be able to walk away from things is a very important lesson, and it often ushers in incredible new, wonderful opportunities. So I welcome this card because it usually means things need to change. But it's a decision that you're making. So here we are. We're back in the home category. What does that mean, Jen? Well, it means that you're deciding that you need to let something go. I mean, this could be something as simple as, moving, changing homes, changing apartments, or something more dramatic like moving out because of a relationship or something like that. Now, the relationship category, we do have the Three of Cups, which is, going out with friends. But that doesn't mean there couldn't be an underlying, maybe you're going out with your friends because you need their support. But yeah, there's so many ways this could play out. I almost don't even want to say about a relationship because there are lots of other things that we need to walk away from. It could be, relating back to that Eight of Swords, we have two eights with the job. And maybe that's what at home this week you're really thinking about your job and thinking, I need to get out of this situation because it's mentally just not healthy for me anymore. So then we have an overall spirituality card. Oh, so this is a nice card. So, what this means to me in a spirituality sense is that this week we need to stop and smell the roses. We need to focus on the simple things in life. We need to try to be present, and it's almost a sense of gratitude. Kids are just like, "Oh my God, look at that butterfly. Oh my God, it's snowing out." Like everything is new and exciting, and they're just revel in jumping in a puddle, and things are just fresh and new. So try to see your life maybe through new eyes, and appreciate all the wonderful things you do have. Even if you're at work and it's stressful, just think, you know what? I have a job. You know what I mean? I got here safely this morning. And so let's try to focus on that. And then I can work towards making changes if I need to at the same time. But um, try to keep that level of childhood innocence and joy for life, I guess I would say. Um, there's also a clue too, because we do have a stressful card in the work position, is to maybe look back at your childhood and see if there was something you liked to do as a child that somehow you could maybe turn into a mature adult version as your job, and try to find a job that's more fills you more on a spiritual level, that you find more emotionally fulfilling. And that all works really well with this Eight of Cups. Um, but the King of Pentacles on the bottom there tells us to just slow and steady, just do one thing at a time, and try to be present in the moment and be grateful for all that we do have. Um, Thank you so much for watching. I used a Mystic Dreamer Tarot today. I'm not sure I'm going to be getting the November videos out on time. I will do my best, and I appreciate your patience that during this time when I'm very very busy. And I'll see you next week. Take care.